All right, welcome to the latest edition of Sidekicks. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's time to talk a little bit of soccer. How could you not have enjoyed yourself talking about soccer? Francis Stevens joining us over here. Chris Black over on the side. Greg Acuna joining us right here. Fellas, it's that time of the year. We're starting to talk about the postseason. We're just about there. And for the Perrysburg girls, a lot of them had their eyes on that undefeated regular season. It's not going to happen as of now.
It's not. Obviously it was a great match out there in the White House on last week, and of course, that was a good result for that Anthony Wayne team, especially get ready to go into this coming week with a really strong Notre Dame team coming in. But for Perrysburg, they still have not lost that league game in the last few years, so you can't be really disappointed getting a share. But obviously with Jorge Diaz, he wants to win that league outright, win it outright every year.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, you can't. They're not going to leave with that complete undefeated season. Well, they will be undefeated, but they will not have that undefeated on side.
Yeah, and really, as of now, the remaining games in NLL are in the favor of Anthony Wayne as well as in the favor of Perrysburg for their own schedule. So more than likely, it's going to be tied at the top for NLL, which you want to win the league, take it, but of course they'd like to win it outright. But it's a tough stretch of games for Perrysburg. I think it was in the favor of Anthony Wayne with 3 difficult games for Perrysburg. They didn't get the results they wanted, but they're still unbeaten in the area, which is important. Still unbeaten by everyone here in this area. They'll be in that district seeding room if they can win out from here and have a little bit of leverage for seeding come that point in the time.
Chris and Greg, are these teams prepared for a long postseason run?
Yeah, and I think the difficulty with Perrysburg right now, they lost a game, a couple ties. I think it helps. You've got to get a couple losses out of the way. How do you come back? You learn how you deal with adversity. I mean, to be fair, the NLL title came down with them and Anthony Wayne in a big game, and yes, there's a couple games left. The rivalry with St. Ursula and Perrysburg on Monday in our game. You're getting up for that game, and then it's like, okay, and then another one, and then another one. And that's really kind of setting them up for the tournament and how they respond. Both are really well set up. The question is going to come down to, in the mess that we've made on the men's and the women's side of high school soccer, what's the seeding room going to get in, and which of the top 5 gets left out at number 5 and has to play one of the top 4 early and really kind of give that extra hard game. So it'll be interesting what seeding hits.
Greg, when you talk about the postseason and you talk about games that are going to be big matchups every time, you're going to have big competition each and every time. You know a lot about that, having big competition each and every game. How do you get the girls ready for that grind of having big competition each time?
I think it's going to be really difficult, and that's when I think the veterans of the team really need to start, and not just physically, but also verbally, because it's hard. I mean, a lot of them have injuries right now. They have schoolwork, but at the same time, I mean, when you step on that field, I mean, you have about 70, 80, 90 minutes to prove yourself then and there, and that's it.
I blame the coaches.
Oh my God!
You get to pick and choose your plays and what your season looks like and how you schedule. I mean, come on, man. Like, let's have a really tough first half, and then really tough last half. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to balance. It's got to be even balance.
I blame Gary for my league schedule. Gary, it's your fault, man. That's what you get for being a league commissioner.
Oh,
here on Sidekicks, we got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking about that postseason as well as some of the men's teams. Stick around. We'll be right back. Back to Sidekicks, now making our way over to the guys' side of the game, and we're talking about a couple of teams that have already clinched their way into the playoffs. Essentially, we're talking about Anthony Wayne, talked about St. John's. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, obviously, Anthony Wayne's wrapped up the NLL title with a great 2-0 win against Perrysburg. Obviously has Bowling Green, Napoleon left, or excuse me, they've already played those two. Actually, Bowling Green and Springfield left. And in the track side, obviously with St. John's and St. Francis both took care of Findlay. Pretty easy stretch down the rest of the way, which it's crazy to me that you play St. John's, St. Francis the first game of the league play. I mean, St. Ursula and Notre Dame gets it right. They play like the last game of the year.
Gary's 1 for 2. That's Gary.
Yeah. It's just like, you get it right. We'll sort it out. We'll share for it now. But that was a tough win for St. Francis team that was down 1-0 with about 10 minutes to go, and St. Francis to get 2 goals. The biggest thing right now is, again, when you go into seeding, who'd you play, who'd you lose to? It's going to be really a cluster at the top half because you got some ties, you got some wins, you got some losses. But again, it's about your results. But it doesn't really matter at that point because you just want to go and play.
Yeah, it's when you start comparing who lost who tied who beat who, it could get just a little bit crazy. But yeah, barring some big upsets, which you don't want to say can't happen on the men's and the women's side too from earlier, they're going to finish out. Anthony Wayne and St. Francis are going to finish out as a 1-2, but barring an upset. But I mean, they're certainly the favorites. But so many people, St. John's, they were on fire for a little while. The Northview steps in and takes care of them 4-2. Everyone's stunned. St. Francis, AW look like the favorites to come out, but there's more than enough spoilers in there to make it really interesting this fall.
Talking about fall, it seems like we've had a little mix of summer and fall. October could be one of those rare months where we started off at 90 degrees and finished it off snowing. Greg, I got to ask you, how is it going to be different playing this game at the end of the month here? What do you have to do differently when you're playing out there in that weather when it drops below 30 degrees versus when you're out there playing at 90 degrees? How tough of a transition is it going to be for these playoff teams?
I think it actually be pretty good for the players. Playing in 89-degree heat right now is absolutely miserable. It's like the one thing you don't want to do. But, once it drops, I think right then and there, you can start running for hours and days and days and days because, you're physically at your peak. And they're at the end of the season now where, match fitness is everything. So I think this would be excellent way to end the season right here.
This is about the time when it really pays off to have put in that work with all of you guys there.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Like I said, day in, day out, fall and winter and spring, whenever you have that, it's excellent, conditioning. And this is like the time of the year where you can really put yourself up and see you guys play right now. So
thoughts on this side on the matchups you're looking forward to seeing?
I mean, I'm just looking to figure out who our opponent's going to be, in the state final. That's all I'm asking. No, and like you're saying, a lot of it. We talk about Findlay. If Findlay, either field for Findlay or Southview is the size of field they play on for half their games a year. So just from that standpoint, the guy's side, I mean, they're going to be excited to be on a ginormous field, and the people on the small field. You think about Clay, like for instance, the Clay High School, who's on a smaller turf field, boys and women's. Our field, St. Ursula, small field, which is grass. We're going to be on turf, crown turf field, so maybe we'll fit the size a little better. So that's part of it, and that's going to be part of a little bit of I guess, the skewing of the field once it starts out. But I mean, every year, all Anthony Wayne on the boys' side does is get to the final, the regional semifinals. I think it seems like every single year. That's all they do. So you know what? And as easy as that seems every year, maybe they get too confident. Someone else tries to come in and get them early, and someone might knock them out. But I think this is the most wide open it's ever been. So it's pretty exciting on the girls and the guys' side.
Are there blue bloods in high school soccer, kind of like you get like the Dukes and Carolinas and Kansas and Kentucky? I mean, Brian Billings is like just rack. I mean, they're running out of space in that trophy case over there. For
those whose seasons don't quite make it all the way into the state finals, and those that may wrap up a little sooner than that, how quickly can we start reaching out to Pace Setter? When's it a good time to start reaching out about trying to get involved with that for spring?
Well, for any ages under high school, please feel free to contact us at our website for youth ages. But right after the high school season ends, the winter time is perfect if you're looking for a new club or even join a club. So check out our website and for more information at www.pacesettersoccer.net.
All right, you guys, it is Sidekicks talking about all the best in local high school soccer. We got to take a break. When we come back, we got more sports coming your way. Stick around.